there, my name is Beck, and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I've been watching The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 7, The Believer. Why is it called The Believer? I don't believe I know. I don't know who the believer of the title actually is, and I've seen it twice. I'm scratching my head about that a bit. I'm going to be doing a review of the episode, letting you know what I think of it. We're going to be talking about these new shows, all these new shows that have been announced on Disney Plus in the Star Wars universe, because I do think they tie very, very directly to the Mandalorian, and a very central question we're going to be talking about. I'm not doing a deep dive into these things, though. I'm going to do another video where I go through each of the things and give you my thoughts on them. I was very cool on all these announcements when I first read it in the morning. You know, I'm sitting on the bathroom with my phone going over Twitter as I'm reading them, and I'm like, oh, I don't really care. Then I saw the trailers and all the announcements, and I became very, very enthused and very enthusiastic about them. So I'm impressed so far. I'm much more impressed than I ever thought I would be. And we're going to be dealing with the question again, which ties into all of this. That's been flying around the fandom menace for the last week or two, maybe more, of is it okay? Is it okay to like The Mandalorian? Are we destroying Star Wars by liking it? Which is a surprisingly legitimate question, right? So we're going to be going into that. We're going to be doing all these things. Before we get in there, though, can I ask you guys, can you hit that like button? That'll be fan-dabby double dozy. Thank you very much. Can you hit the share button? Again, thank you so much. Incredibly helpful. Mostly, can you hit the subscribe button? I am pathetically grateful. Pathetically grateful for each and every one of you that subscribes. If you like your independent voices here on YouTube, if you hit that subscribe button, that is so incredibly helpful, helping us compete against these massive multinational conglomerates that want to crush us. And I do think it's a bit weird that, that my little channel where I spend my days screaming about Doctor Who and Star Wars and Star Trek is somehow been embroiled in some Machiavellian conspiracy to silence unorthodox thoughts. So hitting that subscribe button is very, very helpful. If you're subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. If you subscribe, of course, you can enter my competitions. The prize I'm giving away tomorrow is this one, Ghostbusters on Blu-ray. Freaking awesome movie. A great transfer of it, great extras. All you need to do to win it, subscribe to the channel, which is why I'm doing all this. Subscribe to the channel, and in the comments, leave the hashtag, who you're going to call. Why are you doing me solids? Why are you doing things like that? Can I ask you guys, can you go check the video notes? There's a link. The first thing you find is a link to my Indiegogo sign up. I have an Indiegogo coming out. I don't know when. I don't know when I'm going to do it. It's these two graphic novels over here. I'm building up an email list for it. If you're good enough to add your email list and you make any purchase, then you get one of your choice. Any of these four very tasteful art cards, absolutely free. If you get both graphic novels, you get them all for free anyway. So in that case, you're going to get a fifth chaser card. We're going to start working out when we launch the campaign. And when are we launching the campaign? I don't know. Soonish, maybe. I want to launch it before January. That's basically where I am with it. Fine. Let's talk about The Mandalorian and all things Mandalorian, right? So I would say there's a bit of a rift growing in fandom, in the fandom menace, over The Mandalorian, especially with the announcement of all these new shows. And the question is, and I think there's one that needs to be addressed, is The Mandalorian something that anybody in the fandom menace can support? Are we able to? Is it very hypocritical? Is it propping up the continuation of, I think, what can be reasonably described as the abomination that is Disney Star Wars? Are we doing that? Are we continuing Kathleen Kennedy's run? And look, the short answer is yeah, probably. Yes, you are. I don't think anybody reasonable could say that's not a possibility. But really, I think things are a little bit, as in most things in life, are more complex than that. So my line has of if something is too woke, for want of a better word, too woke for me to be able to enjoy, has always been that when a creator creates a story, I am completely happy with that story to be a reflection of that creator's worldview, and that creator's worldview maybe one I agree with, maybe one I disagree with, but I think any legitimate story needs to be a reflection of the creator, of the artist. So and when it's done well, it's done very well. It's very, very effective. I'm thinking Terry Nation in 1963. I think he wrote one of the greatest explanations of bigotry, right? Within the Daleks, the first Doctor Who Dalek story, which is he had this great line. He said it's a dislike of the unlike, and it's so succinct. And it's so perfect. It's like, yes, that's exactly what bigotry is. Star Trek, I think, was the most overtly political of the legacy franchises. In what was it 66? I guess maybe 67. Addressed contemporary racism in America with probably one of their best stories, one of their best episodes, one of the best episodes of TV. Let This Be Your Last Battlefield. I had Frank Gorshin with black makeup on one side of the face, white on the other, another dude the other way around. I think, yeah, and and it just really showed the absurdity of judging anyone on literally their most surface characteristics, their skin, right? So, and again, absolutely brilliantly. And again, because this was an expression of the creator's worldview, which is what I think great storytelling really needs to be. And I think even if it's a worldview which I disagree with, it's still a tenet of great storytelling, which is actually why I like Nick Briggs's take on The Prisoner, which I know a lot of people didn't. And because it's a worldview I completely disagree with, but I think you need that authenticity as an author, as a creator, to be able to create something of worth. So I think the problem is where creators aren't expressing themselves as a genuine worldview, but more they're proselytizing their worldview to try and convince you to adopt it, right? Which I think is certainly what the sequel trilogy has become known for, right? And it seems to me The Mandalorian, however, isn't doing that. It seems to me The Mandalorian primary mission is to express a genuine core love of Star Wars, coming from Jon Favreau, and it's a love, which I kind of share, which I'm surprised about. I'm surprised The Last Jedi didn't thoroughly kill that love in me, but I think for me, the one reason is I just don't see that as being Star Wars. I don't see the current Doctor Who as being Doctor Who. I don't see the current Star Trek as being Star Trek, because they're just so much at odds with the core of those franchises. So they can do literally anything, and it doesn't really affect my love of what it is. And I'm surprised again, because I really thought it was dead. They had that game Rogue Squadron came out about a year ago, which had, again, all the things in it I love, X-Wing fighters, doing all that stuff. But, you could see it was also being used as a platform for an ideology, and I just wasn't interested whatsoever, right? Not interested at all. So the question is, with all these new shows coming out, what is the model moving forward? And I kind of think The Mandalorian is the model moving forwards. And it does seem to be the case after watching the trailers for these new shows. Again, I'm going to do another video. We're going to do a deep dive on pretty much all of them, right? But it does seem to be like, they're coming from a genuine storytelling rather than a platforming. For me, that makes quite a big difference. So for where we are right now, we just had The Mandalorian. We don't have these other shows. We don't know what they're going to be. And I'm enjoying it. I am genuinely enjoying The Mandalorian, and I'm enjoying it not solely on its own merits. I'm enjoying it because it's Jon Favreau playing with a bunch of toys, which, again, much to my surprise, I still love. I like it in the same way I kind of like Pacific Rim, which had Guillermo del Toro playing with a bunch of toys, which I kind of liked, and playing with them in a similar way that I did when I was a kid. So will my enjoyment inevitably lead? Of my enjoyment of Mandalorian inevitably lead to a return to using Star Wars as an ideological platform? Maybe. Could be. But here's the thing. I'm willing to go in with an open mind and give them the benefit of the doubt thus far because of The Mandalorian. And I'm willing to go and judge these new projects on their merits because of the good the good way The Mandalorian has handled itself, and they delivered solid entertainment without this obnoxious platforming of ideology, and that's something that Doctor Who and Star Trek has not done. So they don't have my open mind in this, right? Anything coming out from those stables, I just assume, is going to be garbage. That's I'm be happy to be proved wrong, but as yet I haven't been, right? I've had to be proved wrong, but that's why I look at them so negatively. And again, sadly, I'm often proved right. But I'm prepared to hope and believe that Mando is a sort of an apology and a course correction for the forward for the future. Which again, I'm going to be going to this much more detail in this other video. And honestly, though, I'm a forgiving guy. I prefer to be forgiving, and I think The Mandalorian has given me an opening not to forgive Disney Star Wars, but it's given me an opening to be able to judge their new output on their own merits. Go into it with an open mind, which again, we haven't had from Star Trek, we haven't had from Doctor Who. But I prefer it to be able to look at things positively and people positively. And if you just give me an opportunity to do that, I will take it. So that's basically where I am with The Mandalorian. Is it okay to like it? It's a complex question. It is a complex question because it could easily be hypocritical. It could easily be self-defeating, but again, right now I'm just enjoying it. Right, I'm just enjoying it, and it's you always enjoy. I always know enjoy it because when I see the recap, I go, how much I've enjoyed this. Right, I get a little smile on my face. So let's get to this episode, which was a bit of a slight one, bit of a video game level rather than a story, unfortunately. So I was really hoping we'll be getting this episode will be like a first of a two-parter, where Mando's getting together this badass team of like Bill Burr, who I knew was in it, Gina Carano, Boba Fett, what's the name, the woman from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who seems to be playing exactly the same character, right? Just exactly the same character, Ahsoka Tano, and a bit of Katie Sackhoff, Bo-Katan action, right? I thought that was going to happen this week. Sadly no, it's just another mission quest, but honestly, a thoroughly, totally enjoyable one. So, that's where I am on that. So this season is nearly complete, and I think we can start looking at in comparison to the first season. And I think we're looking at what will probably be a weaker season than season one. And I'm guessing because we're going to end with a cliffhanger, we don't have so much time left. We got like half hour to an hour, and there seems to be a lot of storytelling they need to get in. That seems to me most likely where we're going to get a cliffhanger. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, something that I think that made the season one of Mandalorian really so special and really stand out and really work was there was a sense of it really mattered if this thing succeeded. It really mattered if it pleased the audience, right? They didn't know if we're going to come back for a second season. So it was self-contained it was open for a second season, but the story was self-contained into a first season. So, because as I said, they didn't know if there was going to be a season 2. So now they know there's going to be a season 3, and there's this little feeling of people being a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more arrogant. That you're coming back. I don't care. It doesn't we? Creators do their best, and they always do their best when they need to be worried that that they're enough to push out their absolute best for every part of everything they do. They need to be terrified that this is their only their only swing at bat, and they've got to justify you coming back for the next episode, which is then with the other legacy franchises we've talked about, Star Trek, Doctor Who. Something is clearly lacking, right? It's something where failure has no consequences whatsoever. So anyway, we have with a quick recap, put a big smile on our face, and we'll open up and we've got Bill Burr, and he's on a Republic, a prison planet, dismantling remnants of the Empire, bits of TIE fighters and walkers. And again, I just love that stuff. It tugs at my heartstrings, makes me happy. And so, I'm just happy that love is still there and it hasn't been killed, right, by the sequel trilogy. If it has for you, I understand where you are. I do understand, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If there's any way to rekindle it, I don't know. You have to want to, right? You have to want to. For me, it wasn't completely killed. So, again, that's what Mando's showing me. To be clear, they don't have a free pass either, right? They don't have a free pass. I mentioned that game, Rogue Squadron last year. If you put your agenda in it, if you use the series as a platform, you get zero love whatsoever. You're at zero love, and it's very, very apparent just instantly. So please, Disney Plus, take note. And so they need Bill Burr, to get the coordinates of where Gus Fring is, Moff Gideon, for reasons. Who cares? It doesn't really matter, does it? And again, I thought they'll be breaking him out of jail to join the badass crew. Nah, not so much. So Boba Fett is in his armor. He's giving him a bit of a paint job. He's looking very spanky. He kind of looks, like what the original action figure did in 1980, which didn't have any of the cool battle scarring on him. So he looks a bit weird for that, now he's all painted up. But it's always fun to see Slave One, right? It's always fun to see Slave One flying in. So in this level, what I'm calling it rather than episode, this level takes place on one of the rarer of Star Wars planets. We're not on a desert planet or a forest planet, but now, or even a Coruscant City world or underworld. No, for today's adventure, we're on a tropical rainforest planet, which I think we've only ever seen in Rogue One. It makes a nice change. So Mando has to go with Bill Burr to the Imperial base to get the coordinates, because nobody else can go near there because they're going to be flagged. But again, it's all just reasons. Gina Carano has in her DNA, she was a resistance airdrop command, whatever she was. Boba Fett has a cool line, right? Boba Fett has a cool line, says, yeah, my face might be a bit familiar, which I thought was cool. So Mando has to change out of his Beskar armor into this weird looking Stormtrooper armor. They've taken over this truck. So as I said, this is a level. This first half of the episode is a level in a video game where they have these trucks and they're filled with these highly volatile explosives, and they got to drive them to this Imperial base as they're being attacked by natives on these floating skiffs. And Mando needs, from the roof of the truck, Mando needs to fight them off. And it's great. Honestly, it's a perfectly actionable action sequence. Very much enjoyable. Very much liked it. There isn't much better threat, despite Mando losing his weapon, halfway through. Couldn't he have just gone to Bill Barr and say, "Can you throw me up your gun?" No, apparently not. And at this point, I do want to point out how much I really do like Bill Burr's Star Wars universe street level blue collar criminal character. I generally speaking, I do like street level blue collar criminal characters. I just like him in a Star Warsy world as well. So go figure. That makes sense. Finally. So finally they make it after fighting off all the guys on the skiffs. They make it to the Imperial base and they get met by a bunch of dirty stormtroopers. And I love the post Jedi aesthetic where all the stormtroopers are like yellowing, So I do enjoy that. Mando and Bill Burr are on the toast of the town because they're the only truck to make it without being blown up. And the highly secret, hard to get to security terminal with Moff Gideon's address in it. It's in the mess hall for reasons apparently. So then there's an Imperial officer in there, so that knows Bill Burr, so he can't go in. So Mando says, "Oh, I'll do it," but he's got to take his helmet off to do it. So Bill Burr's got all this bad blood with this Imperial officer about this mission that we had a bunch of people killed because they didn't care about the little guy. So this is clearly making him someone who was with the Empire for expediency rather than ideology, making him redeemable. And I said, so they're going to redeem him in the next 10 minutes. I guess they're going to bring him back next year. Or maybe maybe they'll bring him back next week. So Mando gets waylaid, getting the by the Imperial officer, getting the coordinates, and he takes his helmet off, and it really doesn't work. I have to tell you, his performance really doesn't work. I was surprised. Now, I don't know if I'm thinking it doesn't work because he was this massive dick on Twitter, right? I don't know if that's the case. I just felt it was just completely underwhelming. It lacked any real screen presence. And again, I thought it was great in Game of Thrones. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, he's saved by Bill Burr, who does a bit of smooth talking and gets him out of this sticky situation. And he's talking to the officer, and you get the feeling the bad blood is playing up and up and up until Bill Burr can't take any more. He shoots the officer and starts a big fight that they had to escape through. Again, thoroughly enjoyable stuff. It ends up they're climbing out. They have Slave One drop in to pick them up, and they're going out. So now it's got this kind of vibe of a Vietnam movie or an aliens movie, kind of based on the same thing. With Slave One feels like a helicopter, evacuating somebody from in a war movie. And this whole secret ends really cool. Bill Burr gets one that does a sharp shot into the truck with the chemical in it that blows up, thus blows up all the other trucks that destroy the base, basically. And before you know it, it's over, right? So they let Bill Burr go, and it does seem like they're abandoning him on this planet. Is he able to get off the planet? I don't know. rather than taking him back to Star Wars jail. And it ends with Mando sending a message, the same message he got from Moff Gideon, at the end of the first year, saying that he's going for Baby Yoda. So he's essentially getting rid of the element of surprise for some reason. So yeah, as I said, a lot to do in one episode. I'm hoping it's going to be a long one. I do hope we're going to get more Ahsoka Tano. Even though I don't think her body language really worked well, as opposed to Bo-Katan, was it Katie Sackhoff? Completely work. I do hope we're getting more of that, and maybe a bit of Luke Skywalker as well. Will they deliver? Will they? I don't know. But thus far, Mandalorian has delivered. So I'm looking forward to see where they go with it, and where they finish it off. My name is Sheila Beckett, and he's the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified of when new videos drop.